Hey everyone, just announced within the last couple of days was a new product from Teradek. It's the new Teradek Vidiu X. This is a live streaming encoder that allows you to get your video out to all your big streaming services like YouTube, Facebook, etc. And this is a new product from them. This is in their Vidiu line, which is kind of their mid-range product for doing live streaming. And this one is in particular sort of a replacement for their older Vidiu Pro device that they've had or did have for a number of years. So I don't have an X available to me, so my Vidiu Pro is going to kind of stand in while I talk about the new device. But the new device is available soon. I don't have an exact shipping date, but it is going to be $699, which is considerably less than their previous only product that was still available, the Vidiu Go. So with that, let's actually take a look at their website and see some of the information that they've actually announced. So the new device, as mentioned previously, is called the Vidiu X. It's a kind of a mid-range device. It's not meant for high-end professional 24/7 work. This is for the occasional event that you need to stream, kind of like what I do with my business. As a mid-range device, it doesn't include some of the things that somebody who does video for a full-time living might want. Like, it doesn't have an SDI video input; it's HDMI only. But there's a lot of situations where this makes a lot of sense, and I will probably actually be picking one up to add to my collection of encoders as well. So let's just kind of take a look here. So it supports 1080p at up to 60 frames per second. It supports network bonding, which allows you to combine the bandwidth of multiple internet connections in order to give you more bandwidth in total, or to give you more reliability in case one of the connections happens to be unreliable or go down. It supports your standard RTMP-S and RTSP protocols. And it has integration with a number of different platforms, so Facebook, YouTube, and Vimeo, just to name a few. There are others as well, but it really does work with anything that supports RTMP. It's a pretty small unit, and it is small enough that you could put it on top of a camera. It is actually smaller than the Teradek Vidiu Pro that I have here, significantly smaller. This one's about 5 inches wide. The new one is about 4 inches wide, so about an inch smaller, a little bit less deep, and just a tiny bit shorter as well. So it is significantly smaller than the previous version of the device that was available. And then there's a couple things that they've added and a couple things they've omitted, but the biggest thing is it's really just a more modern version of the product that they previously had. So it offers the same type of connectivity. You can connect via Ethernet, you can connect via Wi-Fi, you can also connect via cellular, via something like this is a USB cellular modem, 4G LTE modem. You can plug those in a USB port on the side and get connectivity that way. And as mentioned, you can combine the bandwidth of those multiple internet connections in order to give yourself more bandwidth and more redundancy. When you do the bonding feature, you do have to go through their ShareLink feature, which is a paid subscription. It's more affordable than a lot of the other solutions I've seen out there for this sort of thing. They do have several tiers, including a free tier where you basically pay as you go, so you only pay for the bandwidth that you actually use. Then they have other monthly plans where you pay a certain rate, and that gives you so much data available to you at a discounted rate. So anyway, configuration for the device is either done through an app that can be run on either your iOS or Android device, and that's a great way to do it. It also has a web interface that you can use for configuration as well. I tend to use the web interface as it offers more options, and I'm usually at a computer anyway. Get a real keyboard for typing in usernames, passwords, whatever. It's just a little bit easier in most situations to use a keyboard. So you can configure it those two ways. You can do configuration via the front panel interface. So all the Vidiu units have a menu system that's available from the front panel, and then a joystick on the front in order to navigate through the menu. And you can, you probably shouldn't, type in URLs and usernames and passwords through that interface if you absolutely have to. One thing that they've added in the X version of this is an HDMI output, so you can have the signal flow through. So if you wanted to be able to plug output of a camera into the video and then have the output of the video go into a monitor so you can see what's actually being streamed, you can do that. That's a new option that's not been available on the previous Vidiu products. But they've also omitted a few things. Like, for example, these older products had batteries built into them, so you can run them for maybe a couple of hours without having to be plugged in. This new one does not have a battery built into it at all. So if you want to be able to run it for run away from AC power, you can use a USB battery bank. It is powered via USB-C connection on the back. If you look at the ports here on the back, it's got HDMI in, HDMI out, audio input, Ethernet, there's a reset button, and then your Type-C port, USB Type-C port there is just for power. So compared to the Vidiu Go, which is their high-end product, which they are still selling, there are a number of things that are different. For example, well, first of all, the price is less than half as much. So the new unit is $699, whereas the old one is $1490. So yeah, I can say more than twice the price on the Vidiu Go. The Vidiu X only supports H.264. It does not support HEVC, which in the scheme of things is really not that big of a deal because none of these streaming services actually accept HEVC. So if you're going directly to a YouTube or whatever, they're going to expect H.264 anyway. So the HEVC on the Vidiu Go is for using with their core service, which the Vidiu X does not support, and it's for use in situations where you have a limited amount of upload bandwidth, and then the video is then retranscoded into H.264 for final streaming. So again, HEVC is not necessarily super useful unless you're in one of those very specific situations where you have limited upload bandwidth. In terms of other things that are different, the Vidiu X does not support captioning. So if you needed to do captioning, you need to go through a third-party service in order to make that happen. Maximum bitrate on this device is now 15 megabits per second, whereas on the Vidiu Go it's 12. Now 12 is more than adequate for almost everything that I would ever shoot, and that's probably going to be the case for most people, but it's nice to have that option to crank that up if you need to. This older Teradek Vidiu Pro device maxed out at 5 megabits per second, so you're getting a pretty significant upgrade from the older product that they're essentially replacing. As mentioned, the Vidiu X does not support the Teradek core service. Probably not something that you're going to need to worry about. It does not have the internal battery. Essentially, most of the other things are different. All of the Vidiu devices have Wi-Fi, but they've upgraded that to Wi-Fi 6 on the Vidiu X. Not that that's going to necessarily mean much for you, because you don't need all that extra bandwidth that's available with Wi-Fi 6 in order to do video streaming. You won't be able to take advantage of that. And then again, as mentioned, the Vidiu X does have an HDMI output, which is not available on the older Pro or even the higher end Vidiu Go. So, what do I actually think of the Vidiu X? Well, I'm going to have to withhold judgment until I actually get my hands on one, but just from the announcement, it looks like it's going to be a pretty cool product, and one that I will probably actually pick up and add to my arsenal. Even though my Vidiu Pro actually does still work pretty well, it is showing its age. It doesn't support RTMP-S, which is required by Facebook, so if I ever need to stream to Facebook, I only have my Vidiu Go as an option, so adding a device that actually supports that encrypted version of the RTMP protocol would be nice to have. I also like that it has the higher bitrate options that are not available on some of the older products. That's going to be pretty nice to have as well. Although if you're streaming to YouTube, it complains if you go over about 4.5 megabits per second anyway. So if your target is YouTube, you can get away with one of these older ones and still be fine. The omission of a battery is not going to be a big deal for me, and if there was a situation where I needed battery, you can always use a USB battery bank since it does use USB-C for the battery power, for the power supply. And so not really a deal breaker for me. What I do really like about all of these Vidiu products, the Pro, the Go, and the new X, is that they allow you to bond multiple internet connections simultaneously. And this has been something that's been tremendously valuable for me in my business. I do a lot of events where I cannot have my stream go down, and yet we often work in venues where the internet isn't necessarily 100% stable. And even if it was, I would still want to have a backup. These Vidiu devices do a really nice job of allowing you to combine bandwidth from multiple different connections in order to make sure that your stream gets out. So when I have an important event that I'm shooting, I will always have, at a very minimum, a cellular USB modem on hand if I don't always have it plugged in. Also, additionally, and I don't know the actual limitations on the new X, I've not seen official documentation on it, but at least with my Vidiu Go, I can connect multiple smartphones to that device over Wi-Fi, and at that point I'm streaming through Ethernet, I'm streaming through 2 USB cellular modems, and 2 cell phones all at the same time. That way I'm sure to get enough bandwidth from all of those devices and have an awful lot of redundancy there just in case something goes down. Now again, I don't know what the limitations in terms of the number of devices that the Vidiu X supports, but I do know that Teradek has been fairly good about allowing you to use a wide range of devices in order to make sure that your internet connection is actually nice and rock solid. As mentioned, when you do that, you do have to go through the ShareLink service, but I find it to be quite affordable, and it's been pretty reliable for me in the 4 years that I've been using these devices. There's only been one time when ShareLink itself has gone completely down, although there has been a handful of times when one of their servers in one of the different geographic areas in the world has been down, and I have to switch to a different server in order to get my stream online. It's been rare, but it has happened. Fortunately, I've never been in a situation where I was not able to get my stream out through the ShareLink service. So, anyway, in terms of availability, I don't know the actual shipping date. I was not able to find that anywhere on their website, but it is available for pre-order. I've noticed it's available at a couple different websites, and as I see those come online, I will add those to the link that's now popping up on your screen. So if this is a product that you're interested in buying, please use that link. That link will not only get you links to purchase, but it'll also take you to the Teradek website for more information on the product as well. And I appreciate using those links because those are also affiliate links and help to support this channel and doesn't cost you anything additional. So anyway, is this something you guys are excited about? Please let me know in the comments down below. Also, if you have any questions about the device, you can leave those down below as well, and I will do my best to try and answer those. Although I may be limited since I don't have one of these in my hands just yet. So if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing for more video production related content. And if you are running your own video production business, be sure and take a few minutes to check out my crewaccess.com website that I've created for running your business and managing all aspects of that, from hiring a staff to scheduling events and keeping track of your equipment and a whole lot more. So anyway, that's it. Thanks everyone for watching, and have a great day.